Okay, here's the 2.8 homework on the quadratic formula. So let's see what they start with. Here are the first few steps Ariel used to solve x squared. I'm going to write it here because it's a little minus 4x plus 7 equals 0. Based on Ariel's work, what number and type of solutions does this equation have? Okay, so we're just going to look at Ariel's work and plugged it into the formula, simplified it down, and this is what I see. I see a negative number under the radical, under the square root. So that means that there are no real solutions, which means that there will be two, because of that plus or minus, imaginary ones. Or I can see right here that they're using non-real. All of this means the same thing, you guys. Okay, so right here, and explain how I know, I just did, okay, right there. Okay, now let's solve each of these using the quadratic formula. So let me first write it down. X equals negative b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And what I would like is for a, b, and c to be labeled. So here a is 1, b is 4, c is 5, okay? I guess the pre-step, remember my pre-step, is that you must have ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. You must have that, okay? So looking at this, it's okay for number 2 and 3. It's already like that. But we got to watch out for 4 and 5. Okay. Let's go now. We just plug everybody into the equation with parentheses. X equals negative 4 plus or minus the square root 4 squared minus 4 times 1 times 5 all divided by 2 times 1. And then now is the part where I just do each term simplified. No interterm simplification. All right? So now I do x equals negative 4 plus or minus the square root 16 minus 4 times 1 times 5 is 20, all divided by 2 times 1. And then now more simplification can happen. So now what I do is I simplify underneath the radical. That's negative 4. And now I simplify the actual radical. And negative 4, square root of negative 4 is 2i. And then it's all divided by 2. And then please remember, I must be forever at the end and alone. It cannot be part of a fraction, cannot be part of anything, okay? So what you'll do here is you'll do a split like that. So you're going to get negative 4 divided by 2 plus or minus 2 divided by 2 I. See, now I is alone and not part of anything. And finally, we will simplify this to be negative 4 divided by 2 is just 2, plus or minus. 2 divided by 2 is just 1, I. And wanted to write the 1, but I didn't want you to get confused as to why it went away. But we don't have to write the 1 when it's 1i. So really, we will just write 2 plus or minus I. Final answer, x equals, for number 2. Okay, let's go look at 3. A equals 2, B equals negative 7, C equals 11. The quadratic formula is right there if you need to see. Let's go. X equals negative negative 7. So first step, you guys, I don't try to do any math. I just plug everybody in with parentheses. Plus or minus square root b squared minus 4 times a times c, all divided by 2a. So little calculator tip. If you if you type what's underneath this radical, don't put the radical, just what's under the radical. Put it just like this with the parentheses and everything. Your calculator will simplify it for you with using correct PEMDAS. Okay? All right. So we have, I'm not going to do that. I want to simplify it. Negative negative 7 is 7, plus or minus the square root. Negative 7 squared is 49, minus 4 times 2 is 8, times 11 is 88, all divided by 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, now I'll simplify underneath that radical. So let's see what we have here. What is 49 minus 88? Is it 39? Yeah, it's 39. It's negative 39. Okay, so yeah, I don't know why I'm not convinced, but I am convinced. It is negative 39 divided by 4. Okay, and so here we are. Now we simplify the radical. Okay, you can be suspicious of the 39 if you would like and check it real quick. 39 is 3 times 13, but there's nobody, no one's breaking out here. No one has a partner. So the radical is actually as simple as it gets with 39. However, that negative becomes an I on the outside, okay? And then this is all over 4. Now we would be done right here, except that I must be at the end and alone. It cannot be part of a fraction. So we're going to have to do our same thing we did when the numbers weren't so ugly. We're going to have to do the split. And we get x equals 7 over 4 plus or minus radical 39 over 4, and then I. All the way at the end, all by itself. Final answer. Boom. Okay. Okay, here we are. Number 4. I've circled it. Put your guards up, guys. This does not meet the ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0 requirement. Okay? It's close. These guys are good. But my c is over here, and my 0 is not. So I will subtract 2 from both sides first. That's just so I can get the form that quadratic formula helps me solve. There we go. Bingo. We're in business. Okay, so we have a equals 3. We have b equals negative 8. We have c equals negative 2. And we go plug it in. X equals negative 8 plus or minus square root negative 8 squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 2, all divided by 2 times 3. Okay, that means that x equals positive 8 plus or minus square root of 64 minus 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times negative 2 is negative 24. Okay? I do not mess with this. This is where a lot of mistakes happen. I keep it like this. I simplify just like that because it's really no additional work for me, and it'll prevent me from making a mistake sometimes, to leave it like that for just a little and then turn it into a plus. Okay? 64 plus 24 is 88. Oh man, look at all these 8s. Okay, divided by 6. Oh, finally we don't have an imaginary number because there's no negative in the square root. 88. That simplifies for sure. I can tell at least the 4 goes into it. So if nothing else, we got that. 88 is 8 times 11. You might come up with a different set of numbers for that. That's okay. And then 8 is 4 and 2. And 4 is 2 and 2. So we've got ourselves a 2. Okay, we've got ourselves a 2 that breaks out. And then we have a 2 and an 11 that stay in. 2 times 11, which is 22. Man, now look at all those 2s. Okay, and so finally, here we are, okay? Remember, we love ugly radical when it's a real solution because that means much less simplification. There is still just a little bit of simplification to do here. And that is the fact that 8, 2, and 6, it must be all 3, are all divisible by 2. So x equals 4 plus or minus 2 divided by 2 is 1. We don't need to write the 1, so root 22. All divided by 3. And again, you do not have to split this up. This doesn't have an I. It's only I that makes that complicated like that. We're done here. Okay? And now number 5 starts the same. We need it to be ax squared plus bx plus c. You might think, oh, we're good. But no, because it must still equal 0, and this does not. So we do have to do plus 12 and plus 12. So it changes to 1/2 x squared plus 5x plus 14 equals 0. Okay, you guys, here is the deal. You can absolutely do this problem like this. A equals 1/2. B equals 5. And C equals 14. You can do it with that fraction. I know it scares people. It scares me even a little bit. But the other option you have is to multiply both sides of the equation by something to eliminate fractions if you don't want to do it with fractions. So because this side is 0, you can multiply it by anything and it won't change. It'll still be 0, which means you can multiply something to get rid of that fraction. 1/2 times 2. If you multiply by the denominator, will go away, and that'll become a 10, and that'll become a 28. You can, okay? I'm not going to, but you can, okay? All right. What I want to do is try not to be afraid of this fraction because I have a feeling it's going to be okay. Let's go do it. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root b squared, which is 5 squared, minus 4 times a times c, all divided by 2 times a. Okay. All right, let's go simplify now. We're going to follow the steps, you guys. The rules of math, we don't change them for funny looking, okay? We're going to keep going here. This is negative 5 plus or minus square root of 25 minus, okay, here we go. 4 times 1/2, that's half of 4, which is 2, times 14, 28. Oh man, that wasn't scary at all. If that math was like, what? Don't worry, your calculator will tell you 28, okay? And on the bottom, 2 times 1/2, that's 1. Whew. So glad I didn't make those numbers bigger than they needed to be. I will say, though, you guys, it doesn't always go that way. Sometimes those fractions are a pain in the butt. If I did see that it was a headache in here, I would go and multiply. Multiplying both sides of this by 2 is not that hard of a thing to do. I would do it. I just could tell because it was a, and a was 1/2, and I knew I'd multiply it by 4. And I knew it would be okay, but it's okay for you guys to go back and change your mind and get rid of the fraction. Okay. X equals -5 plus or minus the square root. 25 minus 28 is -3. All divided by 1, that's nothing. And this is about done. X equals -5 plus or minus the square root of 3. Get the negative out of there, make it an I. It's already at the end all alone, so this is perfect. Okay. Okay. Why can't I zoom out? Is this okay with you? Here we go. Okay, what are the solutions to this equation? Okay. Man, they're really making us do the quadratic formula a bunch of times, aren't they? Let's go check it out. I'll do it in black. Over here. Okay, 3x squared plus 2x plus 1 equals 5x minus 3. I need it to equal 0. So minus 5x plus 3 plus 3. I need everyone on this side gone so that it can equal 0. I end up with 3x squared minus 3x plus 4 equals 0. I would try to factor this. They didn't tell me I have to use quadratic formula, but looking at these choices, looking at these answers, I know this is not going to factor, so I'm not even going to bother this time. Okay, let's go a equals 3, b equals -3, c equals 4, and x equals -b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. X equals -3 plus or minus square root. -3 squared is 9. Minus 4 times 3 is 12. Times another 4 is 48. And we're dividing by 6. I'm running out of space, so I'm going to simplify this way. That's 3 plus or minus square root of 9 minus 48. That's -39. We saw 39 earlier. If you remember, it was 13 times 3. It doesn't simplify. So this becomes 3 plus or minus rad 39i all over 6. And we're not allowed to have I be part of any of these real number stuff. So we got to go make it 3 divided by 6 plus or minus root 39 over 6i. And then x equals 1/2. Hold on, I'm going to pause this. Okay, resuming. 3 divided by 6 is 1/2 plus or minus root 39 divided by 6i. This is what we're looking for, okay? Okay, I see it right here. Desmos is it doesn't follow this rule oddly when there's a radical. It's a little weird. They put the I in the front. I get the benefit of that. It's so that it doesn't maybe look like the I is inside the radical. However, just so you know, this is the proper way to give complex numbers, okay? But it is the same thing as putting the I in front. Okay, looking at the rest of the choices, definitely not any of those. And man, let's see what else they got. In the equation, 3x squared minus 6x plus c equals 0. C is a constant. Constant means just a number, like a normal number, okay? If this equation has non-real solutions, which of the following could be the value of c? Ooh, let's go check it out. So we would use the quadratic formula, right? And we would do x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a, okay? Now, I don't actually have to do all of this because all I care about is having non-real solutions. And there's only one part of this formula that results in non-real solutions, and that's the square root. More specifically, what's under the square root, okay? Because if what's under the square root, which is b squared minus 4ac, if that is negative, then I have non-real solutions because that's where I comes from, okay? Now in math, when we want something to be negative, we say it's less than 0, okay? So we need b squared minus 4ac to be less than 0. And while we're here talking about b squared minus 4ac, let me tell you, b squared minus 4ac is so special because it tells us about the type of solutions we have and how many we have. It has its own name. It's called the discriminant, okay? I think of it as it discriminates and tells us what kind of zeros we have. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it helps me remember. Okay, and now we plug in what we got over here. So we got to plug in b, which is negative 6. c right now is c. a is 3. Don't worry about this being funny looking. The rules of math never change for funny looking. We do negative 6 squared minus 4 times 3 times c, and we want that less than 0. That means 36 minus 12c must be less than 0. That means add the 12c to both sides. That 36 must be less than 12c. And divide the 12. That means that c must be greater than 36 divided by 12, 3. All right? That's what's going to result in these non-real solutions if c is bigger than 3. So let's go see which of these, only this one, bigger than 3. So that's the answer to that one. Okay, they have another one for me. They want to know what values of b in this one will have non-real solutions. So same problem, okay? We just care about what b squared minus 4ac is, because if that's less than 0, we're in business, okay? But now my a is 9, my b is b, and my c is 4. So I have b squared minus 4 times 9 times another 4. I want that less than 0. That's b squared minus, what is this, 144? 36 times 4? Yeah, 144. Less than 0. Okay? And now we add the 144 to the other side to get that b squared is less than 144. Okay, guys, things do get a tad bit weird when we square root both sides of an inequality, okay? So, I don't know if you guys know this. I don't know if, I don't know if you guys have done this by now, but at this point, you need to think about it. Think about it. You know that the square root of 144 is 12, okay? So I want you to realize that the magic number is for sure 12. If my number, but also negative 12, right? So, I don't know, maybe you guys did do this and I can show you the number line. I'm not sure. But honestly, you don't really need it. You could just think in this case. 12 and negative 12 are the exact boundary lines where I have, here, let's do the number line, but I'll explain it this way. So here's negative 12 on the number line, and here's 12 on the number line, and here's 0 on the number line. And of course, there's a bazillion other numbers on there, but these are the only ones I care about. Okay, if I pick a number bigger than 12, that's not going to be good. That's going to be something bigger than 144, and I want it to be less than 144. But also, I can't just say, okay, everything less than 12, because if I pick something smaller than negative 12, like negative 100, and plug it in and square it, it becomes positive 10,000. And then that makes this, again, fail. So really, the sweet spot of where this works is everything in between 12 and negative 12. Okay? We gotta be less than 12, but we gotta be more than negative 12. So then that's what values? It's not multiple choice this time. So let's go represent it with an inequality. I would say B must be less than 12 at the same time greater than negative 12. B must be in between negative 12 and 12. Final answer. All right. Okay, and now this part where they want me to solve these and use I. This is very recent spiral review, so this is nothing that I haven't already made a video on. So I would say look at 2.6 and 2.7 homework for very similar problems to these, and then you could check those videos. All right, have a good night.